NASCAR Nextel Cup Series from Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, ESPN, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Our coverage presented by Rush Hour 3. Tony Stewart tries for the three-peat, coming off his Indianapolis win and his win in Chicago the race before. And that great fight for the final spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup. 13 points between Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch, and they start together on the front row.
Boy, that's going to be exciting. I wonder who wants the 5 bonus points the most.
More log on to ESPN.com. Here is the race for the lead in Montreal. It is Patrick Carpentier out in front. Boris Said second. Ron Fellows third. There is Marcus Ambrose in fourth spot. And watch this pressure from Boris Said inside of Patrick Carpentier.
Ooh, he let him go. He got him, but he let him go.
When that happened, down at the far end of the racetrack from where our broadcast position is, you could hear the fans roaring from up inside our broadcast room as their local favorite Carpentier held on to the lead over Boris.
He might not sell any many t-shirts this afternoon.
Ron Hornaday, we saw him. He's had a couple of skirmishes already on the racetrack. This was on his onboard radio just a moment ago.
On the drill right now until the 17th is done. Give me 9 times.
I guess he hasn't seen our replay yet.
No, that's right. Hopefully they tell him, you know, it really wasn't 17, but he knew that the 17 had him jacked up.
So Hornaday now has fallen back after the spin and the donut and the burnout and all the rest of that he did quite a bit in the field. He was in the top 10. He's down to 15th now. Now there's Jeff Burton. Burton has been on and off pit road already in this race.
That's right. This is a road course scenario. This is a scheduled pit stop for those guys.
Marty?
I'm not sure they're a whole lot smarter than I am.
Marty, what are they saying down there?
Indeed, it was scheduled, Alan. Burton came down pit road. As you guys said, fuel mileage is going to be big. They went ahead and short pitted on lap 5, fuel only, and he's back out.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on Jeff Burton. Now, this lap is so long here, you can make that stop and not lose a lap.
Which is a great thing.
And by the way, for those of you watching in high definition, our onboard cameras today are not in high definition. We apologize for that.
This is the slowest corner of the racetrack right here, 30 miles an hour, heading up to the fastest part of the racetrack.
So
no, maybe not.
Jeff Burton back to 31st and a new leader. Boris Said has gotten by Carpentier.
And then we heard Patrick at the beginning of the race say he might let a couple of guys go to set a rhythm and to see if those guys could outrun him and see where he's going to keep his brakes.
Right, he didn't want to get out and run too fast a pace and not have anything left for later on. So Boris Said leading a NASCAR Busch Series road course race for only the second time.
I do believe Boris is going to run this car pretty hard. He's one of these drivers that, number one, he wants to win a Busch Series race. He is an excellent road racer. I think he knows where failure is on all his brake systems.
Leaders coming up on the back of Morgan Shepherd in the 89 car to put a lap on. Actually, Morgan going to pit road, so he'll be out of their way. Of course, you see on the what they call the C-pillar of the race car, the post between what would be the rear. Oh, here comes Carpentier back. No room there on the outside of that corner. See, Boris is not going to be a popular guy if he outruns the local hero, but on the back panel of his car, he's got the Montreal Canadiens logo. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
It's saving him.
Scott Pruett on pit road, lap number 8, Vince.
Brad Parrott, the crew chief, was telling me that damage on the right front they did not believe was affecting the performance of the car. In fact, shortly after he'd done the damage, they had run the fastest lap on the track, but they are now trying to pull out that right fender, even got a ball bat that they've got over there using it for leverage, and that is all they do here. No tire change, just a correction of that right front fender.
So Pruett will rejoin. Looks like Fellows starting to put a little pressure on Carpentier for second spot here.
You know, these fabricators, these guys spend hours and hours on these fenders of these race cars. The guy just takes a ball bat to it.
Well, you drivers are the one that rearrange them first.
Yes, we do. It don't take that long.
Of course it doesn't. All right, let's show you how Boris Said got around Carpentier for the lead. Turn 10.
The lap before, Carpentier didn't know he was there. This time he did. He said, okay, I'll let you go.
Classic outbraking maneuver there.
That's right.
And so Said beginning to move away just a little bit as the front 5 have broken away from the rest of the field by about 6 seconds. The gap between 5th place Max Pappas in that one car kind of had a square corner there.
Yeah, it did. There's also a lot of black on that wall, so somebody hit that fence.
Update on the race leader, Vince.
It's a bit of a concern in the pit of Boris Said because they have not had any contact with Said at all on the radio. The crew chief, Mike Shiplett, says he has not said a word, so they're not 100% sure whether the radio is working or not. They're trying to communicate with him, but so far no contact with Boris Said, and that's certainly something that could play a role as this race progresses and they start looking at pit stops.
Well, there's only 1 or 2 places that you can talk on the radio. You're very busy here. You're turning right, turning left. Oh yeah, don't forget you're shifting 18 times also.
Championship leader on pit road, Gary.
Carl Edwards, he's had a marvelous season in Busch competition under the watchful eye of Jack Roush. They make the routine service on this first stop. No indication if he's having any difficulties with that injured thumb. He's away cleanly.
Interesting there, they changed tires. We saw Pruett and Jeff Burton just take fuel only on their first pit stop.
Well, you know, this is a racetrack that they say that tire wear is not that bad. But anytime you got to put fuel in, you might as well get some tires. Unless it's about 10 to go.
So when will these front runners dive onto the pit lane? A couple of crew chiefs told me this morning as early as lap 12.
I think you see Marcus Ambrose, he's out of the wake, so he's trying to get more air to the front of his race car. Anytime you could stay out of the dirty air and get cooler air to your brakes, you'd be better off.
Well, Dale Jr., your car's not as pretty as it was at the start of the race. Left rear corner, Andy Pilgrim in the 88 car, wrinkled up.
One thing's lucky, hopefully the fuel will be able to still get in it. That's an issue these guys are going to have. On
his way to pit road, it'll take a second for him to get to his stall. Pilgrim told us earlier in the weekend how he got this ride.
I was out playing golf, and I got a phone call. You don't normally answer the phone when you're playing golf, right? But it was Junior, so I answered the phone, and he says, "Hey man, I want to talk to you about something. Have you got a minute?" I said, "Well, I'm just playing golf. Can I call you back?" He says, "Well, it's kind of important." And so I was like, "Yeah, sure. Okay, what is it?" And then he told me that, "Hey man, how would you feel about driving the Busch car, my Busch car, in a couple of races, the road courses?" So that's how it came up.
Andy Pilgrim, this is a first for him. He's never made a NASCAR Busch pit stop. A crinkled left fender, fuel being spilled, but that's routine. The lug nuts fly, the brake dust flies. Number 88, what a story as he leaves, and we go to Marty.
Kevin Harvick just came down pit road, took 4 tires and fuel. Crew chief telling him he needs to conserve his brakes better. He said, "You're running entirely too fast to be saving brakes." Harvick down and away. Alan.
And waiting for some of the leaders to come down pit road for the first of their pit stops today. Kevin Harvick rejoining.
Well, that's so hard to discipline yourself to save your brakes. I mean, when you're sitting in that car and guys are in front of you, you just want to pass them. And you say, okay, I can't pass them because I can't use up my brakes. But you don't want to be the first one to have a failure, but you want to go as hard as you could.
Yeah, watch that car bounce over those curves. Race leader on pit road at lap number 11. So Boris Said giving up the top spot to make his pit stop here. Vince?
Boris Said coming in with his initial pit stop. He's going to take just 4 tires and fuel. They're not going to make any changes, and they do now say that they have had radio communication with Boris, so that has not been an issue as you see the crew go over the wall. Again, 4 tires and fuel. We've had a couple of cars that have come in on this initial stop, including Ron Hornaday, that did not take on tires, but that will not be the case for the 9 car.
And so with Boris pitting, that hands the lead over to Ron Fellows, who has gotten around Patrick Carpentier, and Fellows is the leader pending his pit stop.